Yo, what is good, family? Hope you all are having an amazing day. In today's video, we're gonna go over the summary of the videos and the setups we had since the last class, since the last session, which was on February 4th. If you guys remember, it was exactly right here with the sell that at the time it was at risk, and eventually it hit all the exits going forward to the 1 to 3.22. And basically we had a few setups since then. I have not had any time to record any other videos, so here we are going over all the trades at once. I will first go over the M5Rs, and then I will go over the swing setups in Bitcoin, and then I will go over Euro and Pound. So let's kick it off. Basically, let's go over the 5 minutes and go over the whole summary of the setups since February 4th. So basically, let's go over the 5th. All of the setups that I'm going to talk about have been given on the live sessions with my private group of students, which you can find the link on the description of this video in my Instagram. You can basically ask into my DMs if we have available spots, so you can have access to all my live analysis sessions where I give these setups live, all right, and also the private app where I also send all the rest of my analysis in Forex and crypto. So all the setups that you're going to see right here have been executed, managed, and closed and explained in the live sessions and also sent on the private app. So going over Thursday, February 4th, we had this bullish BOS, pretty beautiful. We had a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and lower low. Bullish break of a structure gave this bullish BOS, beautiful bullish movement, eventually giving the exit. So yeah, pretty clean structure. Let's go over Friday. Friday we had another bullish BOS. This was one of the tricky setups. You're gonna understand why right now. We had this low, lower high, and lower low. Now inside this bearish leg, we also had high, low, lower high, lower low. This was 9 a.m. candle, by the way. All right, this was the opening candle. This build up is very important. As you guys know, bullish candle first makes the low, then makes the high. Therefore, yeah, right here we have this high, low, lower high, lower low. This is the bearish trend, but then inside of this, we are doing this low, lower high, lower low. This is the build up. Therefore, we are allowed to take this bullish BOS first before this other bullish BOS. As this happens first, this is the one you stick to. So basically, invalidation below the low, exit at the 1-to-1. Pretty simple. In this case, we first had this bullish movement to then go almost to hit our invalidation to then keep skyrocketing. So this was a pretty beautiful setup after this almost invalidation, then skyrocketing to the exits. Fantastic. Now let's go over Monday. All right, this was all the weekends price actions, Saturday, Sunday, now Monday. I will go over this swing setup now in a few, don't worry about it. But first, let's go over the M5R from Monday. We had this bearish rule of the third impulse, pretty simple. We had this high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, entry for the rule of the third impulse. This is very important. Bullish candle, as I just said, first makes the low, then makes the high. Therefore, we have this bearish movement, pull back, bearish movement, pull back. All right. So this pullback is what gives us the signal of, hey, you can actually take this. This is 9 a.m. candle also, by the way. 9 a.m. candle in this case breaks the low. Therefore, it's activating the bearish reversal for a rule of the third impulse. One impulse, one pullback. Second impulse, second pullback, entry to the third impulse. Beautiful. First of all, gives a bit of movement in the wrong direction to then melt all the way to the downside. So that's pretty dope. 3 wins in a row. That was a beautiful consecution of trades. But now let's go over the first loss, which was on Tuesday. this was a completely valid loss, and you have to make all your losses valid. If you have a loss and then you say, oh, it was not a valid loss, then you're doing things wrong. All right, you have to treat, and you have to have every setup being the same. Then that setup, by statistical probabilities, it can be a win or a loss, but the loss must be as valid as the win. That's the most important part. So in this case, we have high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and 9 a.m. candle is right here. The next candle at 9:05 activates the bearish rule of the third impulse, gives a bit of a movement in the right direction to then go into the wrong direction and eventually hitting the invalidation. So this is completely fine. You will have scenarios like this pretty much every single week. All right, it's you have some weeks where the market gives you 5 wins in a row every single day, giving you the first trade of the day as a win. When I say first trade of the day, I mean the first trade in my trading session. You can trade Madrid session, London session, New York, Sydney, Tokyo, whatever you want to do. If you trade, let's say, session of Sydney, then the first trade of the session will be your trade of the day. In my case, I trade London Open, so the first trade of the London Open is my trade of the day with this strategy. So that's what I mean when I say trade, the first trade of the day. So some weeks we'll have 5 wins in a row, 1 win each day. But other weeks, they will have at least 1 invalidation. So it's pretty normal that you have these type of S scenarios. Now let's go over Wednesday. Wednesday, we made it back with this win, which was again completely valid, but we have a little nuance. And this was important because this live was quite stressful, not gonna lie. I mean, sometimes I even have these S scenarios where market gives stressful situations and you just have to manage them as well as you do with the super clear S scenarios. So let's kick it off. We have basically a high, low, higher high. Now inside of this bullish trend, as we just did with one of the previous examples, we had low, high, higher low, higher high. But the little nuance is this rule, which you have to take notes of it. I've repeated this rule multiple times on the videos, but I say it again. If the low relevant BOS happens before the open, the relevant BOS is still valid after the open. That's key. So in this case, we have the low relevant BOS happening at 8:55. Then the 9 a.m. candle happens right here doing the BOS. Now let's get more specific, because this low, all right, you can see it on the black tag on the right. This low is 24.56. Now this low that is made on the candle that is 5 minutes before the open is also 24.56. So they are equal lows. They are exactly equal lows. Now, Charlie, is this canceling the option for you to sell on the higher low as a BOS? No, because this is not a BOS at all. They are equal lows. For us to have a BOS, price must surpass the higher low. In this case, it's not surpassing, it's just respecting it, doing equal lows. Therefore, we cannot say that price is doing a BOS. So we stick to the rule. Low relevant BOS before the open, significant BOS at the open. Therefore, this short was more than valid. That's fantastic. Now let's keep it going. We go into Thursday's price action, which was a loss. So let's break this down. This was basically high, low, lower high, lower low. Bullish BOS happens at 9 a.m. Fantastic. And goes straight to the invalidation. So at this point in time, we had a break-even week, which was good. All right. You will have also losing weeks. You will have break-even weeks. That's fantastic. These two trades are swings, so I will not break them down right now. Let's go over Friday's M5R. Oops. Friday's M5R gave us the win of the week, basically. Gave us a +1. High, low, lower high, lower low. Now internally we have low, high, higher low, higher high. And then on the build-up of this higher low, until this point, market didn't make any setup. We had this low, sorry, that high and this low. Market didn't activate any of these setups. Then we had this higher low and this higher high. Didn't activate any of the setups. So on this build-up, we have the setup. We have low, high, higher low, higher high. Candle that makes second higher high closes above first higher highs level. Therefore, this wick is a pullback. So this is the activation of the rule of the third impulse to go for the third impulse, right? So this is the entry that gives us the 1-to-1 fairly quick. And that gives us the win of the week to close it up on a +1. Now let's go over today's setup as a Monday. We had this beautiful win, which was pretty simple. Same thing as always. High, low, lower high, lower low, bullish BOS at 905. So yeah, basically this bullish break of a structure went to hit all the exits. This basically makes a total tally of a close of the first week of the month as a +2R, the close of the second week of the month as a +1, and starting up the third week of the month with a +1, which is fantastic. Now M5R is not known from giving massive returns every single month. It's just a strategy that requires 0 brain cells to apply once you get it. It only takes 1 hour a day, literally. So it's a strategy that is worth keep, right? It's a strategy that you see the benefit on keeping trading it. Although you have different strategies and multiple systems, it's a strategy that I always look forward to apply, as the time is minimal, the effort is minimal, and also returns are standard. But the ROI from time investment to return in money is insane, and that's why I keep trading it, although it seems like a low return system. With this being said, guys, remember on the description of the video you have the link to my Instagram. You can talk to my DMs and ask about available spots for the private group of students. You can basically have access to all my live analysis sessions from Monday to Friday in English and Spanish, where I send all these type of ideas. And also you have access to the intensive courses with all my strategies and everything, and also to the private app with all my analysis in Forex and crypto. Now, with this being said, let's go over the 1 hour and go and check the swing system. So first of all, this was February 4th. Swing system to the downside, hit exits. We didn't have a setup until February 9th, which was 4 or 5 days after. We were inside of this bearish range in the 4 hours, okay? We obviously tapped into the 50%, and literally the first setup in all of this pullback that we had was right here. We didn't have any other scenario. In the 1 hour reversals, we didn't have any, only this one, which was on Monday at 1 a.m. on the night from Sunday to Monday. And I was able to execute this live, right? Because I was up working on some stuff on the laptop. So yeah, I was basically able to execute this live at 1 a.m. If I was not, I will have had the opportunity again on Monday at 5 p.m. So it's all good. Now this took a bit, right? This took a couple of days to hit the exit. It took 2 days and 5 hours. This hit the exit right here basically because, yeah, we were bearish on the 4 hours, but we were also bullish on this 4 hours PRP. So the significant range was bearish, but we had also an internal range to the upside. Therefore, when I have these situations, I put my exit on the internal level of the low relevant range. So in case that market respects this impulse, I can still be out in profit from the main sell. If I have the internal and the general bearish, I just put my exit at the lower low. But yeah, basically right here we went on a good play. Eventually, we respected the area to then reverse. Because we already hit the 50% of the 4 hours PRP, I took this long. Why? Because we had low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Entry to the third impulse after breaking and closing after second higher high level. And basically that went to the invalidation to then follow the exact same pattern: low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, breaking and closing above second's higher highest level. And basically that gave me the entry. This was on Friday at 4 a.m., which I took then afterwards at the open of London session around 7-8 a.m. So basically that's the long I'm still holding. This is still running and at risk, waiting for this higher high to potentially be taken at 72,200. So yeah, this is being a long swing. All right, I'm still waiting, like I said, for the price to break the higher high, but this could still go lower and hit the invalidation. So just keep it in mind. Now, going over the forex pairs, I'm inside this one from the euro. Since last session, well, we had this short on the euro. Then the very next trade, this was on February 4th. The next trade was on February 11th. So we had a few days in between. This was a 4 hours bear range, 1 hour bear reversal. Gave me the 1 to 1.13 given with the red folders. So yeah, that was a pretty fast setup. And now I'm inside this one from February 11th. Now is February 13th that I executed this one and is still running a little bit in the wrong direction. Looking forward for the exit right here at the 1.618 because right here we had more than a 1-to-1 to the lower low. Therefore, I put it right here. But right here, we don't have a 1-to-1 to the lower low. Therefore, I have to have an extension as the exit. And then regarding the pound, I'm still in the right direction. We had this one that I was not able to execute on the 11th at 4 a.m. And now I'm inside this one. Didn't have any other setup in between. This was just executed today, a little bit in the right direction. And basically 4 hours bear range, 1 hour reversal correlated with the 4 hours internal range. And that's basically the setup. Looking forward for the lower low at the 1.49. So yeah, guys, with this being said, quite a long video, but basically wanted to go over everything since the last video. Will do my best to do more frequent videos so I don't get all the trades stacked up. With this being said, see you in the next videos and enjoy. Let's get it.